What's going on, Squatchers? So, we're recording today in Red Betty, my favorite studio to be in. Today's video, I'm just going to talk about footwear. Simple topic, really. There are a bunch of different choices that you can have depending on what you want to do for a hike or what's comfortable, what you have access to. So, let's dive into it. All right, so the first shoe that I'm gonna go over is just your basic shoe. Be a shoe that you'd wear to the gym, your tennis sneaker, if you will. It's just your basic workout sneaker. Now, if this is what you have access to, yeah, this is gonna be fine. There are some downfalls to having this compared to some of the other shoes, but I'm more gonna talk about their positives over why these are negatives compared to them. If this is what you have and this is what you have access to, don't let only having these keep you off the trail. These will work. There's people that will claim they go hiking barefoot, so this is more protection than barefoot would have. I personally, however, do feel that there's a reason why there's technology beyond these. But if this is what you got, go ahead and use it. The regular old sneaker. All right, so the more common thing that you're going to see out on the trail is the hiking boot, right? We've all seen these. This is actually my everyday wear. This is what I wear when I go to work. They're very comfortable. They have a higher ankle support usually compared to what you'll find in the next pair of shoes and the previous shoes I just showed. They usually are some kind of leather, so they're some kind of waterproof. They have really good tread, and they're pretty durable. These aren't bad by any means, and for some people, this is what they really would rather prefer due to the extra ankle support, and they like the waterproof feature. The downfall I find with these is, number one, with extra ankle support, if it's not really something that you need, you're actually not strengthening your ankle as you should be. Instead, you're using a crutch that holds everything in place. So when you don't wear this, your ankle's actually weaker. Now, for other people that need that ankle support, that's totally fine. That's totally great. And I'm glad there's something out there for you to be able to use. The leather, though it does make it more waterproof, it also holds that water in. And I always find that if you hike anywhere where there's any kind of moisture, by the end of that hike, these are wet. Your feet are wet. Your feet are wet inside of them. There's just no way around it. Water is going to get in there. And then with these, it takes forever to get out. So that's why I personally do not hike in these. Unless I'm doing like a day hike, maybe I might go out and do it. But anything where it's going to be multiple days, I just find that these cause more problems than what they're able to prevent. But they're really good for their ankle support for sure if that is something that you need. The hiking boot. All right, so now on to what I would consider the golden egg for your feet. These are trail runners. These things are amazing. They literally feel like ninja slippers on your feet as you're running up and down the trail. They have great tread. They definitely can grip rocks just fine. You do pretty decent moving around ice, even though I still would suggest getting the creepers so that you're not falling and hurting yourself. They are super lightweight. They do not keep your feet from getting wet. However, they breathe so well that overnight, these will dry out. If you're in an area that's not just completely downpouring and they get a chance to be away from that moisture, these will dry out. Me and my backpacking buddy got totally drenched on when we went out towards the Kings. In the morning when I put these things on, they're completely dry. And all I do is I just hang them on the end of my hammock as I sleep at night. And they were totally dry in the morning. I definitely had no problem throwing these things back on. Is that always going to happen? No. There's a little moisture out there. They might still be somewhat moist, but I'm telling you, there's a way difference on how long it takes these to dry compared to hiking boots. Now, here's another thing. I want you to take a look at that toe box, right? See how wide that is? And then here's what you would normally have. See how thin that is in comparison? That wide toe box helps spreads your toes out so that as you're hiking, you're not getting that constant jamming sensation of your toes together. And it is a lot more comfortable. And I, so far, though I haven't been on long back-to-back trips, have never had any problems with my toes. We will see on the PCT how these things treat me. But so far, these are the absolute bread and butter for me. I love these shoes, and I cannot go on enough about them. I will also add, I have what I call duck feet and flippers. My feet are very wide to begin with. So I always end up having problems on the sides where I always get squeezed. These, no problems at all. They're so comfortable, I've never had any issues. So I would highly, highly suggest trail runners. All right, the next shoe I'm gonna talk about is the sandal, right? I personally don't like hiking in the sandals. I find that you will actually get a blister on these two sides here where it rubs against your foot as you're hiking. However, I use these for two things. One, I use it for camp. And you'll see people that have much less of a sandal for camp. I've even seen some people just take a pad, cut a pad out, and use some duct tape. I personally, though, like to have this because I multi-use it, and I'll also use it for stream and river crossings. You take off the shoe that you're wearing, you take the socks off, put them in your pack, try to keep them as dry as you can, and you use these instead. They'll protect your feet from rocks, but at the same time, when you take them off and you hang them off your pack, they'll dry out really quick. I know that some people claim that with the all trails, those things dry out so fast that they don't waste their time to change shoes. Right now, I'm still changing shoes. We'll see, maybe as I progress and I do some of these really, really long hikes, that might be something I end up getting rid of, and I might lighten up my my sandal here. But right now, I really like these sandals, and I think they do a really good job. All right, folks, so that is my video on the different type of shoes that you can take out as you go backpacking, and kind of the different positives and negatives on them, and the different reasons why people use them. The major thing is that foot care is so important when you're backpacking. That is your money maker. If you got beat up, sore feet, you're not going to get in those miles, and you're actually putting yourself in a very dangerous situation. So it's important to have shoes that are comfortable and that are worn worthy. And by that I mean you've worn either this type of shoe before, or you're better off wearing that exact shoe. Take it on short hikes first, right? Go out and get it stretched out, get it a little worn in before you go out and start hitting those 14 to 20 miles. That way, you're not going to get those blisters on those long hikes. And if you have an area that needs to get worn in a little bit and wears your foot a little bit, you're only doing a short hike, and you can get home and take care of that spot and check out that shoe and make sure it's going to work for you in the future. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's video. It's pretty short and sweet. Again, foot care is really important, so take care of your digits. Thank you guys for being here, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Have a good one, Squatchers.